Hey, I'm Tanner.
And I'm Jesse.
And we are
Giant Scam Industries. It's so hard to hold a drink with VR controllers in your hands.
It went down my mustache into my beard. I'm Tanner Netterville, and I've been a software developer for a very long time, pushing 15 years now. And throughout most of my career, I've been in web development. Started out in graphic design, making simple websites. As I went through my career, I made more and more complicated websites into making, complicated web application architectures. The entire time, I have been a huge video game nerd and playing with tools like Unity and Unreal on the side. And, making tech demos here and here, learning, different pieces of the platform, culminating in Jesse getting me hooked into Giant Scam. And we released my first game that actually made it into Steam was Chop It, which is a VR rhythm game featuring this character, this beautiful mug right here, as the sensei. And it's a VR rhythm game, and we love it. But so I've basically been a hobbyist in Unity for about 10 years now, before I really got into it seriously.
I'm Jesse, aka the Tech Boy. I like to do a little cowboy hat tip right there for the the people. Jesse Keogh. I've been in development since college, essentially. So went to school for computer science and then got a master's in computer science. Most of my career has been in payment processing, financial engineering, that kind of back-end architectural.
The stuff I always tried to avoid.
There you go. Yeah, for some reason chose to dive deep. And I'd say about 5-ish years ago is when I first picked up Unity and started playing around with something. Before that, when I was a kid, I made a few Half-Life maps or Counter-Strike maps, and maps for various Half-Life mods. I remember one time I found a text file in another paintball game where I could change the name of a gun, and I named it like Jesse's Cool Gun or something like that. And then I was like, I'm a game developer now.
Totally.
Yeah, that's how it works. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess 5 years-ish, been more seriously tinkering around in Unity, and then obviously, as Tanner said, worked on Chop It, and now we're working on SnapShot VR. So here we are. Today we're talking the story of Giant Scam Industries. It's a good story. It's been about 3 years now. Isn't that hard to believe?
Yeah, that is a long time.
Yeah, we've been doing this thing.
Longer than it feels like. But yeah.
We've been really doing this thing. So as many folks know in our community, Tanner, you've been here almost the whole time, but not quite the whole time.
I've been here for every game release.
Yes, and the majority of game development. Let me give the quick spiel of the foundation, and then we can just kind of pick it up where you joined. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Cool. So, picture this. It's 3 years ago. The world's a different place, clearly.
No one has heard of these things that have happened this year.
No. Yeah, it's not on anyone's mind. It's a great season for naming a company Giant Scam Industries. It's the right season for that. My buddy, you know him, Charlie. I met Charlie playing Counter-Strike when we were 14. And we always loved like trolling and playing video games together, goofing off.
Way back to the beginning here. Yeah.
I'm going way back.
Way back.
Origin story. So I'm like super close friends with Charlie my entire teenage life. I actually fly in college out to LA to meet him for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
We're hanging out a lot, kind of over the summers and breaks and stuff. I moved there after grad school and lived there for a little bit. Then I moved back. Then he moves to Tennessee. All this to say, great friends. We decide, let's build something together. How about a video game? right?
As one does, yeah.
As one does. True story. The origin of Chop It. So this is Charlie's ultimate contribution to Giant Scam Industries.
This is Chop.
We were making we were just building mechanics because like it was both of our first times making a game, and we were making this kind of like goofy house game. We should cut that. Actually, let's bleep that. I want to use that name in the future. I don't want anyone. I don't know spoilers.
We will leave it. House of Bleep.
Yeah. Yes, they won't know. Perfect. We go to get we go to get tacos through a drive-through while developing, and across
as one does.
Across the street from the drive-through is a like a taekwondo studio, and he's immediately like, we should make a karate game. So yeah, clearly. So we get started on just karate mechanics, and then it very quickly becomes a rhythm game, and we go on to build Chop It. Now, this is where it gets real, and we get into the current state of Giant Scam Industries. I'm developing Chop It. I'm pulling my hair out because I'm basically solo deving. You know, Charlie has gotten a chance to go teach English in Japan, so he's moved on. And we're at the Global Game Jam, as we always are.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're always crushing it at the Global Game Jam.
Oh, yeah.
And I am talking about how this project's driving me crazy, and you're like, hey, man, I can help you with that.
I think I said something like that.
Yeah.
I was a bit distracted at that game jam, but that was the one where it was my first like VR. I'd messed with VR, but that was my first VR dev project, really. And the theme was wave, and we had waves of enemies come at you while you wave at the aliens to get them to stop in their tracks, and then trigger the traps at them. It was the best wave game ever.
It was the best wave game for the wave theme, guaranteed.
Yes, absolutely.
Guaranteed.
We wave in peace.
We wave in peace. Check it out. I think it's on itch.io.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. So give me like your optics, your point of view. Like we've known each other for a long time. Me and you worked at Eventbrite together. Ton of mutual friends. Been friends in the dev scene for a while. What made you say, yeah, I'm going to go work on this project that is in VR, so surely isn't going to make any money, but I'm going to spend my time there anyway?
Yeah, so I think that's sort of twofold. One is, your company is named Giant Scam. I'm going to be interested.
Yeah, you got to be a part of that. Who wouldn't be?
Yeah, I got to be a part of that. The second one is, I've been messing around with game dev for years now. Just most of what I put out have been tech demos. Like, I have this mechanic in my mind. I want to see if I could make that. So I'll make it. But I'm more of a software engineer by trade, do a little bit of art, had a little bit of an art background. And so I never really had a finished game that I released. The closest I got was like a Tron Light Cycle ripoff. But so I had a bunch of tech demos ready to go, and you had something that was basically a game already, but needed a layer of polish. And I was like, hey, I've done that kind of polish before. I can do that shit.
Totally, yeah. Polish is needed for sure.
Some of my tech demos overlapped the thing that Chop It was missing when you first showed it to me. And so I was thinking, okay, I could totally make this work. And so between the two of us, we got Chop It to what I still consider a fantastic game.
I totally
agree. And if we'd released only a few months earlier and had lightsabers, the
world would be a different place, my friend. Oh, it would be a very different place.
I'm not at all bitter about it. It amuses me.
Hey, it's the way these things go.
Yeah.
But let's talk about it. Fully featured rhythm game, karate themed.
In-app editor. Web editor.
Yes, in VR layout, or I keep saying SnapShot. I'm getting ahead of myself. Beat map creator, online beat map creator. You can import MIDI files. It's so functional. The first rhythm game, as far as I know,
algorithmic mapping.
Yep, algorithmic mapping. You can plug in an audio file, and it detects all the beats
for
you.
Initial map. It's not going to be a perfect map, but it's a starting point.
It's absolutely a starting point. And the first rhythm game, as far as I know, to have full 360-degree beat maps.
On day one.
Yeah, on day one. Yeah, we did a lot of good things there. We learned a lot about developing a game. We learned more about releasing a game.
We learned a lot about Steam that day.
Oh my goodness. Yep.
I love Steam. Don't get me wrong, but we learned a lot about Steam.
Don't release a game on a Friday, I think, is the moral of the story.
That's the takeaway there.
Because as soon as the clock hits 5,
they take their weekend seriously.
Support isn't coming. But yeah, we eventually got it on, and it's been fine for a first game. We've sold a handful of copies. We've done giveaways. We did that giveaway where if they send in an I voted sticker, we gave them a Steam key.
Yeah,
every Steam sale we put it on sale for like $1. So yeah, I've been super happy to have that kind of as our first game out there.
Definitely. It was a big moment, for me at least, when something that I worked on had a direct hand in was now available on Steam for people to go download. I was like, oh shit, this is fucking amazing.
Yeah, totally, man. I feel that.
A big moment for me.
I think I recorded it. I think it's on YouTube somewhere when I pressed the release button in the Steam admin.
I remember that. We were sitting around a video conference with our beverages out again.
Yeah. Man, I couldn't drink whiskey for 3 months after the release of Chop It, because every night me and you were on until 2 a.m. drinking whiskey.
Whiskey fueled development.
Yeah.
Not saying that's what you should do, kids, but for us,
that's the way it went. Yeah. Oh man. Cool. All right. So that's game one. From then on, it's really primarily been me and you. We've collaborated with other friends. Even our friend Brandon helped us kickstart this project and get some of the early architecture in place.
He was fundamental to that first. This all started with 3 weeks worth of work to make a demo before GDC, and he was instrumental in getting that to work.
Totally. Yeah. Let's talk about that GDC moment. So SnapShot was not a thing 4 weeks before GDC. It wasn't really even an idea.
It wasn't at all. Yeah, I had never heard of it.
Yeah. So we were still, this was only a few months after Chop It came out.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So we were, still patching Chop It. We weren't looking to dive into a new project. And then we said, hey, we're going to GDC. I've got this shooter idea in mind, not really knowing that it was going to be a paintball shooter or anything else.
Yeah. But we had, separately from it being potentially a paintball related shooter, we had before talked about shooter games that we'd played. They had a lot of good simulator aspects, and they had a lot of good Space Marine aspects, but there weren't that many that focused directly on the actual moment-to-moment gunplay. Yeah. We had that conversation well before this.
True.
Yeah.
True. And I think the rest of the mechanics kind of fell into place as we started iterating those first few cycles leading up to GDC and saying, oh, we do projectiles. They want them to shoot in the rate of fire of a paintball gun. There. Pull it from the hip, baby. That's right. All right, put that away for now. It's dangerous out here. So, yeah, we worked long nights for those 3 weeks, and then we were able to pitch at GDC to a number of people that were pretty interested. We were super happy, that a trailer with some copyright music.
There exists a trailer for SnapShot in the early days where in the first 3 weeks that we worked on it, we not only built a multiplayer demo that worked in VR and had the fundamental game mechanics down. There was, a lot of polish that needed to come later, but it had the fundamentals in place. We not only did that, but we also cut it to a 30-second trailer that we can't share with anyone because we didn't have rights to the music. It was only for showing on our phones in elevators at GDC.
Yeah. which worked perfectly. The first meeting we took was with HTC,
Yep.
and
You
like,
might see their logo back there somewhere, maybe.
yeah, I hope our rep at HTC would agree with my memory of this meeting, but they were super kind, and I think at first they were kind of like, cool, another couple of indies that don't know what they're doing, and we're like trying to explain the idea, and eventually Brandon's just like, why don't we just show you the trailer? This is probably 3 or 4 minutes into the pitch. They haven't seen the trailer yet, and we show them the trailer. They love it.
Good.
And they quickly become, not only are they the first people that we've talked to, but they're already talking about how we might partner together in the future. And we pitched to a number of other interested parties throughout the weekend. Ended up having a great relationship with HTC, and to this day we do, and that's why we're launching on Viveport 30 days before the rest of the world. Yep. Yeah. Awesome. So, yeah, we got this game where, we get it through GDC, decide people are interested, so let's dive in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at that point, it's still not really paintball related at all. Even in spirit, it's more of gunplay focused. We knew ahead of time that we wanted to be, no health bars, one-shot kills. We liked that style of gameplay, but it still wasn't, like we said, we're going to make a paintball analog. That wasn't until that sort of happened gradually, even as far as I remember it. Like, it wasn't like suddenly we said, "Oh, we're gonna make a paintball game." And I mean, even now, you don't look around and see paintball, but it feels like paintball is what we decided. I remember that. I don't remember the lead up to it, but the moment I remember thinking, "This is absolutely," the paintball game was watching paintball players at World Cup 2019 for NXL. Play it and see them just actually get into it. Never touched VR before, so there's that a little bit of a VR first timer euphoria that comes with using it. So take that into account, but still they were actually snapping out of bunkers and stuff and doing really well at the game. And so at that moment I knew, okay, this is a heavily paintball inspired game.
Right. We almost had to every day at that event tweak our elevator pitch to sound more like we're more invested in paintball, because we really are. Like I, as grew up playing paintball. You've played paintball yourself, and
our paintball experiences were very different. Yours was on fields with bunkers and teams with names. Mine was, I got a buddy who has a farm, I'm going to shoot him.
Well, that's how I started too. I just happened to go this direction with it, Yeah, but World Cup, maybe what we can do is I can do this and we'll magically overlay a picture of us at World Cup with our booth or something. That'll work. Do we know how to do that?
Magic?
Right,
magic.
We'll Google it. That was one of the coolest weekends of 2019 for me, for sure. I mean, really weeks. We were there, Tuesday night or Wednesday through Monday morning?
Yeah, it was close to a whole week. Now, the event itself only lasted throughout the weekend, but the crew was setting up, and there were people there being active. Like we were spent time setting up and spent time tearing down. So yeah, it was a good week for sure. We were very excited. After that one was over, we were like, all right, when's the next event? When are we getting into it?
Oh my
gosh! 2020 happened.
I know. Yeah, there's definitely a part of me that was like, well, I guess every 6 to 8 weeks we're gonna be in a different city.
Yeah, and I was cool with it.
Me
too. Sounded fantastic.
Yeah, because our reception was incredible. We had the
paintball players were great. The people loved it, and I got a pod in my screen, and just had a good time.
Yeah, totally, man. We had pro players play. We had kids, I think, as young as 8 years old, try the game.
Definitely.
People had a great time, and we were able to take that data that we were gathering from all the matches that were being played and give real useful statistics back to players, because we were playing on the exact same field layout that they were running the tournament on.
Yeah, we were playing on the NXL 2019 tournament layout, and they had announced the layout. How long before the event was the layout out? It was a few weeks, right?
Yeah, I think they typically do a few weeks.
And so the day that they announced it, at that point we already had our system in place where we could make new layouts and get them in game pretty quickly. At that point, we were just using text editors to write the JSON like by hand. I think I had a Unity tool to let you edit some bunker positions a little faster, but it was practically writing it by hand.
Totally, yeah.
And so we got it in like within a few hours. I was able to carve some time out, and we got the layout in. Then we started getting matches on. And how many kills do you think we had, or how many matches do you think we had on that layout before we went there?
I'll try to. Yeah, we could always look it back up. Hold on, I got a burp. This will be edited.
I'm going to take advantage of that moment to take another sip.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm sure that's what's causing me to burp, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. I'd say we had upwards of 300 kills recorded on the layout before
we went there. And
before
then
going
once
to the
we
event.
were there, we weren't playing online from our booth. So in our booth, we had two Vive Pros set up side by side. It was like a 20 by 20 booth. We had a little table in one area, and then we had two Vives set up, or Vive Pros set up, and HTC sent us laptops for the event.
Yeah.
And even one of those was burnt out when we got it.
Oh my God, yeah,
and they
that
sent
was
us
nuts.
another one expedited next day. So they were great. So we ran those. They ran great. It was super hot, super humid, but all the equipment made it through. We had extra boxes protecting the display TV and my laptop from stray paintballs off the fields there. And then, but yeah. So how many matches a day were we running? So we got there at like 8 a.m. and left at 6 or 7.
Yeah. Yep.
Something like that.
Yeah, I think we were maybe upwards of 50 matches a day, something like that.
Yeah, so at the booth we ran one-on-ones, and so it wasn't the full 5-on-5 experience that we've designed the game around, but it was still really valuable for people who actually played paintball to see, oh, there's that line of sight. Okay, I can see this that I haven't played on this layout yet, but I can see how this angle could be useful, and I can see where my team might call out, send a guy up the left, or It was fantastic.
Yeah.
I remember teams coming by who hadn't even actually played the game. Like one of their guys had played it. Then he would go off, and then an hour later, he would bring their entire team by. They'd just come look at the TV next to me and look at the kill stats, and he'd like point out and draw the lines. They didn't even talk to me. They were just interested in the kill stats, and they kept on going on. That happened at least more than once.
Yeah, exactly. Those stats were great. I mean, identifying which bunkers are favorable on a real life layout. It's pretty cool. That's one thing I'm super happy we've been able to do with this game so far.
Oh yeah, definitely. And we have big plans for it. We know we have a compass direction we want to get to, like a goal we want to be at, and we'll see what other good opportunities show up on the way to get there.
Exactly.
That's kind of how we've approached most of what we've done so far. Is we get an idea in our head, we say, okay, this is what we're going for. As we get there, what else falls out? And we'll keep what's good and replace what's bad. And so we have ideas for where we're going with our stats, and they are improved over what we have now.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think that can be said largely for our philosophy for developing the game in general. Is we know where we want to get. We want to iteratively give people a good experience in the game between now and then. That's why we've chosen something like early access. And I don't think. Should we drop the date?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, because if we don't, I'll be lazy.
We got to say it out loud, huh?
We got to say it.
All right. So this is the first place. This is the first place we're saying it too. So on July 28th, if all goes well, then it'll hit early access on Viveport.
If Tanner doesn't fuck up, it'll hit early access on Viveport.
So July 28th, the plan is, and we'll of course reiterate this as it becomes more sure.
Yes.
we'll launch early access on Viveport. We'll do 1 month exclusivity with our good friends at the Viveport team, and then it'll hit Steam. It'll hit Steam right after that, and potentially some other marketplaces as well. But we won't get too detailed at the moment.
And for anyone wondering, we still plan on investing the time into making this work on Quest. We've made a lot of decisions ahead of time. You can see the rendering style we've chosen to make sure that it is compatible with Quest hardware. But we have limited amount of time we can actually spend on the project as it stands, and so we're saving the Quest for after launch. We will come to that. It will happen. I can't promise a date on it yet, but standalone Quest is in our future.
Totally. That's a great thing to call out because Quest obviously being the most accessible hardware. I don't want to make a paintball player have to go build a gaming PC and then buy a headset, right?
There's a lot of them that are on the fence and could be PC gamers. And if you're on that fence, go ahead. You're gonna enjoy it. Yeah. But if you just want a VR setup and you have no interest in PC gaming and you're perfectly happy with your Xbox or PlayStation, then a Quest or the next company that releases a standalone headset like that is really the right choice.
Totally, yeah. I totally agree.
Especially because with specifically the Quest, if you get that and then do have a computer that's capable of playing VR games, you can just plug a cable in and it will work.
Yep.
And it will serve both purposes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So up till now, what is your most memorable moment developing this game?
Oh my gosh.
Like what stands out as big things that we worked on, or like big successes, I guess would be a good way to put it.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, if you go back to the early days, remembering the crunch to getting to our first networked map where we could actually both be in the same scene, waving at each other.
First 3 weeks were really busy.
That was nuts. Other big ones for me, I think the first time we were able to, the first time someone made a custom map for SnapShot, Shiva, before there was an editor.
By hand, editing JSON, which, it can be edited, it can be humanly read, but it's not expected that anyone could read that. And he took the time to not only understand what was already there, but invent his own on top of what we already had. He asked us some questions along the way, but that was a big moment for us. It was like, holy shit, somebody's using our stuff to make, oh shit.
Yeah, that was absolutely huge. I'll call out two more and then I'll pass it over to you. When we first tried Rails locomotion was huge for me. I love our locomotion systems that we have in the game, and Rails is definitely my favorite. And then lastly, when I logged out of SnapShot and when I reopened SnapShot, it automatically logged me back in. Was one of the biggest moments of my entire life.
Nice. For those that thank you, Amazon Web Services. Yeah.
For those that don't know, we have cross-platform profiles. You create them on SnapShotVR.com, and it takes your stats, your arenas, your cosmetics everywhere, no matter if you're playing on Viveport, Steam, Oculus Store, or whatever. And not having to type my password back in with a VR keyboard was life-changing.
Now, I made that VR keyboard, and I'm proud of that VR keyboard, but I also agree with that sentiment of I don't want to have to use it.
Yeah, it is funny, I guess, the way that works out.
Yeah.
What about you, man? What are your big wins or big moments with SnapShot?
I think, so, this past year or two has been a bit of a blur in general for me, but some of the bigger moments. Jesse's now on the other side of the desk.
Press the wrong button. Let me hop back over here. Oh, there we go. Back up a little bit, I guess. That's probably about right.
Yeah. You were a little closer, maybe. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, maybe
it's fine.
We'll scooch.
There'll be enough edits in here that will be good.
Perfect.
We're pushing like 30 minutes now, anyway.
Let's just release it as is.
Just live stream the whole thing. I've been streaming this whole time. You didn't know.
We could do like a unedited cut for the community. Yeah,
the extended.
Just watch 30 minutes of us talking.
With Lord of the Rings font, extended edition, Dev Diary.
Yeah, people would love it. I hear that. I heard that noise.
Oh yeah.
Cheers.
That's the sound of the Yeti. Cheers. sound of the Yeti hitting the Rift S.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So for me, kind of the most memorable moments up till now that got us where we are, I would say probably the first 3 weeks was a blur. I remember the moment when we first had our networked test, and I saw the character that I built in the map, and I saw you and Brandon in there running around. I was like, oh, holy shit, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And then after that, I mainly remember editing the trailer.
Well,
starting
yeah, that was a big one.
We need a 30-second trailer, and the first cut was like 5 minutes long. And then we iterated down very quickly down to it was like what 35 or 40 seconds maybe. It was the final trailer for that first one. We've gotten a little better about that since then, but that was very significant in my memories. Also, then the next major thing I remember was the moment when we had Snake vaulting.
Yeah, what I accidentally just did.
Yes, what you accidentally just did, and we'll have some B-roll of someone snake vaulting, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll put it right here because we've Googled it and now we know how to do it. Right here. Yeah.
But yeah, the moment when we had someone vault the snake, and not just like the moment when we had it working, because I worked on that for a while, and there were iterations and tweaking and testing, and it didn't quite look right, so we'd go back and forth. So there was a lot of that. But then the moment when the first player saw that and goes, "Holy shit! Did he just jump the snake?"
Yeah,
that was a big moment for me. Yeah,
that is a very, very cool feature. It's just a differentiator, being able to traverse the layout that way. Yeah, I love that.
And that kind of goes into, I mean, our community. What are we up to as of the date that we're recording this? We probably have about just shy of 500 people on our Discord, right around that number. And then we have probably about 15 to 20 regulars that come back for weekly testing, right? Somewhere in that number that we can usually every week fill up a 10-man room, no problem. But and this is all early alpha testing for the game, but the way that we grew this community has really stuck with me too, and the way that we've had people interfacing with it and giving feedback as we go, I've found very valuable, and I will definitely try to do this again, especially for multiplayer related games.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think is the way to go.
I think we can definitively say it's a different game because of the community.
Yeah, definitely a better game. Yeah,
absolutely.
Because, I mean, I'm proud of what we can come up with, but this is better than what we can come up with.
Yeah, this is a group effort here.
Yeah,
I'm 100% with you. So that's the story of Giant Scam Industries. Tanner and myself. Keep an eye out for launch day on Viveport, July 28th. We'll be on Steam about a month later. If you want to play today, join our Discord. There's a link on SnapShotVR.com. You can get in, play early. We'll give you a beta key.
If you want to follow us on social, we are Giant Scam everywhere except Facebook, where we're Giant Scam with a K. If you want to support the game before it releases, we do have merch available from GiantScam.com. T-shirts, both Giant Scam and SnapShot VR.
Let's sign us up. Yeah, thank you guys.
See you guys.
Hold on, I got a burp. This will be edited.
I'm going to take advantage of that moment to take another sip.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm sure that's what's causing me to burp, but I'm going to do it anyway.